As we begin this edition, let us inform you that on Sunday, President Paul Kagame received Howard Buffett at Village Urugwiro to discuss the ongoing implementations of projects between the Howard Buffett Foundation and the Government of Rwanda. The foundation has made agriculture investments in Kirehe district of Rwanda's eastern province in the form of a mass irrigation project. Moving on, campaign activities for positions on district advisory councils has now begun, and so have those for 30% of seats to be occupied by women. The National Electoral Commission has announced that 1,461 of 1,641 people who submitted their requests to stand for election actually met requirements and were approved.
The campaign activities come as people in different communities look to their local leaders to address the challenges they face, and in a timely fashion. First, we want them to do advocacy for us and for our roads to be upgraded in places like the cell of Karugira. We have no modern roads there. The National Electoral Commission has announced that 1,461 of the 1,641 people who submitted their requests to stand for election actually met requirements and were approved, 61.8% of them being men. On average, every seat has 4 people that are vying for it. Electoral officials have been noting that more people have been applying to campaign for such positions as time passes. More people have been submitting their applications to stand as candidates thanks to sensitization efforts, and we expect that we will have 17 well-qualified advisors in each district after intense campaigns. We have more candidates now than we did during the 2016 campaigns, and more women also submitted their applications, though men still exceeded them. Regardless, there has been a clear increase in the number of female candidates. Certain rules have to be followed during the campaign period, largely meant to fight the spread of COVID-19. They are not allowed to hold large campaign meetings with many people gathering together, but they can hold virtual meetings and rallies. They are also not allowed to hand out campaign flyers and pamphlets because that is one way of spreading the virus. They also cannot campaign based on the political parties they belong to. They can join them all they want, but that cannot be a basis on which they stand for election for these positions. Also, they cannot use the country's symbols or emblems during their campaigns, but they can have people who campaign for them. Top officials in the Ministry of Local Government have also emphasized the need for the campaign rules to be respected. All morning I have been seeing pictures everywhere, and questions have been raised about those without phones or are illiterate. Well, the voters will belong to councils, and the members of those councils are literate and have phones, radios and other means of passing on information. When it is time to vote, they will cast their votes based on the views of the people. The government will not provide any extra support for the candidates because they are campaigning on their own, and we believe it will all go well. The campaigning will end on Saturday next week, when the elections of the district advisors will take place. A week later, elections for the district executive committees will be held.
On Sunday, as local elections at the sector level were concluded, the Minister of Local Government, Gatabazi Jean-Marie Vianney, urged the elected local leaders to bring out new innovations when dealing with problems at community level. The minister made the call while in Rubavu district.
In evaluation, you can support those that were already working because they were doing a great job, but also bring in fresh blood so that they can do better. These newly elected leaders should also know that they have got a starting point. They should evaluate and see what's in the sector or in the district, how many schools do they have, and at what level they can solve the residents' problems. How many residents access water and electricity? They should know where to start from and set a goal so that in 2 to 5 years, they will be able to make progress. That is why elections exist, in order to evaluate what was done in the previous mandate and then give them another mandate to do better.
The World Bank and the International Monetary Fund report that by 2022, Rwanda's economy will grow at a rate of 7%, making it the second fastest growing on the continent. The mining sector is one of the mainstays of the country's economy, with Jean-Malik Kalima, the chairperson of the Rwanda Mining Association, confirming that the international market for minerals, specifically from Rwanda, has risen sharply. This has implications for the country's economic growth expected next year.
Now we can see that after that, the price goes up, and we are even expecting that it will go still up. That means we will be able to export and get more, we earn more foreign currencies during the next coming years. So we are now thinking that with that we'll grow our economy by exporting minerals. And then now sensibilize the people to invest in mining and also work very hard, especially with our policy of upgrading the values of our minerals before we export them.
The government plans to invest more than 250 billion Rwandan francs in the private sector to help it recover from the economic downturn due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This is in addition to the 100 billion that has also been invested in the private sector as a way to support their activities. And Robert Bavakure, the chairman of the Rwanda's Private Sector Federation, explains that this is why the private sector expects the economy to grow at that rate.
We base this on the fact that many businesses have resumed, like hotels and other services, as tourism is among the mainstays of Rwanda's economy. And the $250 million is expected to be invested in this sector. So this is something that will increase the economy, and also the fact that investments were put in hotels and various private businesses before is the reason why the economy can now be easily recovered.
According to the World Economic Outlook database released by the International Monetary Fund for October 2021, Rwanda's economy by 2022 will be ranked second in Africa when it comes to the rate of growth at 7%, after Seychelles by 7.7%. A professor at the University of Rwanda and an economist, Dr. Philippe Dekubwimana, says there are many indications that the country's economy will grow, including the international conferences that are being hosted in the country.
Kuko burya muri economy iyo washise cyane no kuzamuka cyane birashoboka, ariko hasabaho ibyo twita risk management.
For the economy to recover, it requires what we call risk management, whereby the country uses strategies of developing technology and doing businesses online, as it is doing everything possible to attract more investors. So if the country will stick to its target of risk management, the culture of saving among citizens and creating jobs to reduce the issue of unemployment, then I believe that the goal can very well be achieved.
By 2023, Rwanda's economy is expected to grow at a rate of 8.1%, trailing Niger, which will have a growth rate of 10.4%. China has donated 300,000 COVID-19 Sinopharm vaccines to Rwanda. They arrived in Rwanda this Sunday morning via Qatar Airways. They were officially received by Dr. Tuyishime Albert, the head of Disease Prevention and Control Department at the Rwanda Biomedical Center, and officially handed over by Wang Xiangzhen, an economic and trade advisor at the Chinese embassy in Rwanda. He said the two countries have been working together to combat the COVID-19 pandemic since it was first detected in Rwanda.
Demonstrate the solidarity and time-tested friendship between China and Rwanda. And since the outbreak of the COVID-19, the two countries have been working together very closely, and China donated PPE and also other COVID-19 materials. And also, I think right now, Rwanda is going all out to execute the vaccine rollout and trying to vaccinate around 60% of the population by next year.
This is the second shipment of COVID-19 vaccines from China to Rwanda, with another 200,000 having arrived in August this year.
Gahunda dufite nuko
Our plan is not to keep them in the warehouse, but to take them straight to the vaccination sites. The capacity and means for them to be transported are there. They will be delivered to various areas of choice depending on the nature of the pandemic in a certain area, and also depending on the speed of the vaccination process in that area. After establishing where to allocate them, it takes only 2 hours for them to arrive in those areas. And then we immediately work with the local authorities and hospitals so that the vaccination process begins the very next day.
Some members of the Pentecostal Church of Rwanda, named Umuriro wa Pentecote, have said that they are still thinking about being vaccinated, while others say they haven't got the time to do so. One of the church leaders said that he is yet to be convinced to take the vaccine, which is why he does not urge his church members to get vaccinated. Ghislaine Mugwaneza reports.
The Pentecostal church named Umuriro wa Pentecote operates in Kimirongo sector in Gasabo district. They effectively put in place other measures to fight COVID-19. The only different mindset they have is about taking the COVID-19 vaccine. Some say it's not yet the right time to be vaccinated. Others say they're still thinking about it. The fact that I haven't got the vaccine yet, it's not because I have no time. It's just because it's not yet the right time. Yeah, it's not the right time. I'm also in the process of getting vaccinated. I'm not far from doing that, but I haven't gotten time yet. The members say there was no campaign in their church to encourage them to be vaccinated. The church leader has said that he didn't encourage the members to get the vaccine because of the fact that he also doesn't feel like taking it.
I personally thought that I would wait a little bit and see what will happen to the vaccinated ones. And I had concerns and wanted to be careful first. My heart has not accepted it yet. As a leader, I tell my members what I believe, and I am not yet convinced about it.
During this week, the Minister of Health and the Minister of Local Government were in the Western Province, while urging church elders and leaders to fight anything that may discourage local residents from taking the vaccine.
Causing residents to become rebels, misleading them, limiting their chances of having life, teaching them things that can cause loss of life. I want to remind those that say it goes against their beliefs that it is a sin itself. Good beliefs are those that protect life.
Among the 2,500 members of the church, no exact figures of those vaccinated has been established. However, out of the 12 people we asked, only one said they had taken the vaccine.
On Sunday, the rotation of Rwanda National Police members on the peacekeeping mission in South Sudan took place. A contingent of 143 police personnel led by SSP Gaston Sazimana returned to Kigali after completing their one-year tour in that country. The replacements left the Kigali International Airport on Sunday morning, led by SSP Marie-Grace Uwimana. Speaking on behalf of the police command, CP George Rumanzi commended the peacekeeping efforts of the Rwanda National Police personnel stationed in South Sudan. Well, there you have it. On behalf of the entire news production team, thank you so much for your company. I'm Jane Mutoni. Good night.